welcome to another episode of UnitedFanZone. We've got the extra special guest, Casey Gale, on live again tonight. We might be having him on quite a bit on Mondays, I hope. But let's start off with, does he stay or does he go? We've got the big meeting tomorrow, as it seems, from Manchester United. But what's your thoughts on that, Casey? Do you think he stays or do you think he goes?
I think at this moment he'll stay. As much as the emotions that are involved with this season, as much as we're disappointed in this season, you almost need to say, especially as Ineos, as a leadership group, you might want to give him a little bit more time. I think it's kind of quick for you to say you backed him in the summer and to, pull the plug this quick. As much as there's fans screaming for him to be out, you just can't do it right now. And I mean, as fans, we're allowed to say get him out or keep him in. But as a leadership group, I don't think it'll be wise to do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Still have some guys I think you need to see come into the team and put their mark on it, even though I don't think some of them are getting opportunities well enough. But it's just too early. It's too early. You just can't do it as a management group. You just can't do it right now.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite. I think he might go. There started to be more and more reports on the old Bayern manager coming in, Thomas Tuchel. I'm starting to see a lot of that coming out.
Yeah, today was heavy with that.
It was heavy with that. So I'm starting to see a lot of that come out today. So there's no smoke without fire. So I'm kind of thinking, there's definitely something like in the summer, we heard huge reports of Thomas Tuchel taking over, and then it came out that Thomas Tuchel kind of was not interested in the way the things were going. But I'm wondering, the longer he's gone without a job, whether he's kind of, reconsidering that. Me personally, Thomas Tuchel's won every single place he's been at. Yes, he's also been fired at a lot of places. But has he also been fired? He's been fired from Chelsea. Now, we all know Chelsea was a shit show at the time. Bayern, they didn't win the league last year, but, I don't think anybody in charge of Bayern would have won the league last year. They're not started off too exactly well this season either. They had that 2-2 draw the other day. But I think Thomas Tuchel may be a better option. I was watching the game again at the weekend. I don't know whether he was watching our show, which I doubt it, but I definitely saw him on the sideline, but I didn't see any passion or kind of direction out of him at the weekend. So that's kind of a disappointment. I saw him on the sideline, but there was no I've talked about this in the past. Like, all good managers are directing flow from the sideline. I didn't see that from him again. I saw it from Rude, but I didn't see it from him, and for me, that's a disappointment. So me personally, I think there's a strong possibility that that Thomas Tuchel takes over after the international break. With Tuchel, if Tuchel does come in, what's your thoughts on that?
Actually, he's the type of coach or boss that I like. He's a strong character. He's not scared to make the tough decisions. I think he has a system, tactics that are proven. He's, like you said, won many places.
Yeah.
I think to have Tuchel, I'm just gonna say he's my favorite options out there. You just have to be a strong-minded individual to be at this job. And I think he's been at big clubs and he understands the magnitude of coaching at Manchester United. So I wouldn't be opposed to him at all. I actually like him as a candidate.
Yeah. I think coaching at Manchester United, I think he has that, when, being at Chelsea, being at Bayern, he's been at the top clubs. So I feel like he has the quality to, coach at Manchester United. He also has the, wary of knowing that United is a big club, because as much as we sometimes don't like to admit it, that, you know, at the end of the day, Chelsea was a big club when he was there. You know,
they were coming off a period of winning a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, the magnitude was big at Chelsea, and I thought he handled it well. That whole Chelsea thing was a fiasco. I don't think. I mean, not up till now, the coaches haven't survived. They haven't been successful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's one of my points with Thomas Tuchel is we can't judge him by what is going on at Chelsea. What happened at Chelsea, should I say? Because Chelsea was just a fiasco. Yeah. Now, can we judge him what happened at Bayern? How long was he at Bayern? Did he win the league with Bayern? Yes, he did. He just didn't happen to win the league with, you know, Harry Kane. But who can win the league with Harry Kane? You know, England's been to 2 finals with Harry Kane and not won one of them. So, you know, that's my point of view, you know, is that you know, that curse with him. One of my other kind of like touching points, like with Thomas Tuchel, is I'm not sure. A lot of people, what I've heard is he's a 2-season manager. Are you okay with Thomas Tuchel coming in and winning the league in the next 2 years and then leaving? Or are you looking for more of a long-term manager? Somewhat, because I think we've got this misconception that everyone needs to be like Fergie. We're not in that day and age anymore, you know what I mean? We're not in a Fergie day and age where he's going to be there for 20-something years. No manager is going to be there for 20 years. So are you okay? What's your kind of point to that? Are you okay with Tuchel coming in?
I would like to think Manchester United, if you awake this giant, this behemoth of club, there's no other club you want to go to. Yeah. Winning at Manchester United, we all know, you're going to open the doors to personal glory. You're going to be probably knighted. You're probably going to be called Sir Tuchel. I don't think after Manchester United, people, if he wins there, my point is, I think he'll say, this is where I want to retire. It doesn't get any bigger unless he takes a national job and wants to go win a World Cup. Yeah. Manchester United, to me, is the biggest club you can go. Unless you go to Barca and awake Barca.
Uh-huh.
The only club you could really say, 2 clubs you could really say I think could compete with Manchester United on the large spectrum are Real Madrid and Barcelona at this moment in time. And Barcelona right now needs a resurrection. Real Madrid doesn't need it. So I don't think he would want to leave, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
maybe I'm being a romantic.
No, absolutely. Like, I think Barca are in a worse situation than Man United right now. You know, the only difference is they're winning games, but well, yeah, that's another thing that Manchester Mikey said, you know, or Liverpool, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Liverpool is another one of those clubs.
Yeah.
But in the Premier League, I don't see anybody else. I don't even rate Chelsea like that.
No, not right now. I think Chelsea, I put a bet on at the beginning of last season, you know, that Chelsea finished in the top 4 this year. I don't see them not finishing in the top 4. Yeah, they're top of the league, but your boy's injured there, Mikey. So, you know, and I told you that, you know, that boy wasn't going to be doing so well at Real Madrid as you thought he was going to be doing. But for me, I think United in the last couple of games, I think with the tactical situations, I think with the substitutions, I think a lot of the stuff is he's just getting wrong. And that's my problem with the situation is, like, you've made it to the semi-finals of the Champions League with Ajax. Now, a lot of the players that we have were at Ajax, whether you made the Champions League semi-final with those players or not. So my situation is, you brought all these players in from Ajax when you played there or managed there. But these players, for me, are not performing for you. Like, de Ligt. Something's off with de Ligt. And I'm kind of seeing it where a lot of people were saying, and I said this in the last show, de Ligt, for me, seems to turn off when the ball is not around. We saw it with a goal. I think it was the second goal that came in and someone beat him to the header. When the ball is in the area, he's on. But something's kind of off with him. I don't believe this whole hype that, that Ten Hag came out today and says, well, we have a lot of games and we have to look at the games and then we have to decide with who we're going to play. We're not playing Aston Villa of 10 years ago. We're playing Aston Villa of now. Aston Villa of now are a top 14. So why are you playing Maguire and Evans? That's going to touch into our next talking point. Were they better? But if you're thinking that De Ligt and Martinez are your best two centre backs as of right now, while Lenioro's out, why are you taking him out for the biggest game of the season so far for me?
Yeah, Erik ten Hag has basically confused me with his rotation excuse. I'm just going to give you an example. Garnacho pulled himself out of international duty because he said he was hurt the last 2 matches.
Mm-hmm.
So that contradicts everything you're saying, Eric. You played a hurt Garnacho over a healthy Ahmad. I don't understand that logic. So I don't want to say he's giving us BS, but I think he's giving us BS. I think Erik ten Hag has found himself in a situation where I feel like the media is influencing with a lot of his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the last game he got complaints about Martinez wasn't playing well. The media was all over him. We were all over him. And we said maybe De Ligt fell off. Both of them had a poor game. Don't let us fans, media, sway you. Because to go with Maguire and Evans, I was shocked when I woke up that morning. I was like, oh, my God.
I was absolutely shocked.
And I saw Manchester Mikey said, this guy, who said it? This guy is crazy, or is he something? I forgot what Mikey's post was, but anyway. But it worked out. They played good, and that concerns me too about how and Evans came in, gave a professional, strong performance. Evans got man of the match when we have younger, more athletic guys who are in Erik ten Hag's system for years, can't figure it out.
I think with De Ligt, I'm going to give him a break because, he's right at the beginning of his Manchester career. It's a complete, he's played it, in the Bundesliga, he's played for Ajax, he's played for Juve, but there's no league in the world that is as fast paced as as the Premier League. So for me, I'm going to give him a little break. He has to deal with, constant threat of, he's not playing some lower league, Bundesliga team, so the lower league team in the Premier League, if you stuck Southampton in the Bundesliga, there's no doubt in my mind that team finishes in the top 5. So I'm going to give him a break on that. Martinez has been off, and I'm wondering, and I've said this before, I'm wondering if he's a little more concerned about his foot injury.
His injuries could be worse than we thought.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether that metatarsal break has put him off, because when Beckham came back from his metatarsal break during the World Cup, you could clearly see him jumping a lot more to get over a player's tackle because they were worried about that break. We've seen with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw has been constantly injured since he broke his leg. So, of course, a player is going to be a little more worried. So, he's not going to be the butcher, as we call him. So, I'm wondering if that's a little... Mikey, I'm not making excuses for Martinez. I'm just wondering what is going on, because we're clearly not seeing the Martinez that we have for the last 2 years. Yes, he's playing shit. I'm just wondering why he's playing shit.
And it's fair to almost not have an excuse, but to wonder what's going on, because he had such an excellent performance his first year where we were like, this guy's going to end up being one of the defensive players of the year at some point in his career.
Yeah.
And now the drop-off is so drastic, it's like...
Yeah, it's not so much making excuses, it's more wondering what's going on. That's why we're kind of at. Touching back on your 5 goals, with Mbappe, 3 of them have been penalties, so... I just want to touch on that real quick. But yeah, we're not making excuses for Martinez. He's been playing crap. He deserved to get benched, but he's not the player that he was when he came back last year. Even when he came back last year from his injury, he was different. He made a difference to Man United's defense. This year, something's off. So, you know, we're just wondering what is going on rather than like making excuses for a player.
It's weird how the defense was in such a strong position about 3 matches ago.
Yeah.
Now everything is just gone
the opposite.
Terrible.
Yeah. You know, the strikers are scoring goals, but our defense is leaking.
Yeah, we can't get the two at the same time, and that's a concern too.
And then Manchester Mikey saying, and how many does Rashford have to be, that's better than him? You're a hater. I'm not. I think Rashford's been okay this year. I don't think he's been great, especially at the weekend. Rashford was horrible at the weekend, and he was lucky not to get a red, a second yellow. I'm not being a hater. I just like to mess with you, Mikey. But yeah, you're right. Like, our defense has gone from the first couple of games to, not conceding any, to just letting them all in right now, other than this weekend. And then our strikers have started to score goals. That might have something to do with Rasmus Højlund coming back in. I think Rasmus Højlund is our only out and out striker. I think he makes a huge difference in pulling players to the left or pulling players to the right wherever he's going. I don't think 𝙈𝙊𝙍𝙀 does that as much. But again, we had another bad decision from, another bad game from, Bruno Fernandes this weekend. I think.
And then it goes back to Erik ten Hag telling us, well, there was rumors that he pulled Rashford at halftime because he wasn't tracking back.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruno is allowed to carry on with horrendous play. Listen, you know it. Mikey knows it. If you see a guy in the locker room consistently putting bad performances and he doesn't have to, he gets rewarded every time, it messes up the vibe. People are, there's got to be guys saying, oh, shit, I wish I was Bruno. I could mess up. I could do this.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think it affects the rest of the players. You're looking at your captain who is playing horrendous for Manchester United right now. And then you look at the rest of the players and they're like, well, our captain's not being taken off. For me, it's like a psyche in the dressing room. Like, but it's different because I've seen the training videos. I've seen before the games. I've seen like halftime. You can see that big smile on Bruno Fernandes' face. Like there's nothing wrong. But then game time, he just switches off. And for me, it's like you said, like the rest of the players are going to see that because that's the captain. You know what I mean? That's the guy that's supposed to get them going. But if the guy that's getting them going is like, ugh, and then getting sent off for 2 games in a row, whether one of them was a bad decision or not, it doesn't matter. He's still sent off. The other players are going to see that and go like, well, why the fuck should I play?
Yeah.
If he's playing and he's staying on, why should I play? And I think it's a lot of the players are kind of seeing that. So, me and you were talking before the game. Some of the substitutions this weekend were bad. Again, he leaves on Bruno Fernandes, takes off Rasmus Højlund, who I think was having a pretty decent game. The striker for me, yes, he has to score, but he was pulling players left, right, and center. That Villa defense.
Position.
Yeah,
he's a threat to the defense as that point man, and that's something. Even if he doesn't score, it's so valuable because. It opens up the middle for our creative guys. Yeah,
and like Bruno Fernandes of a couple of years ago would be picking these shots off left, right, and center right now. And because he isn't playing bad, I don't understand why he think for me, it's like, it's clear. 𝙈𝙍𝙀 is not a striker. And I don't understand why he seems to think the 𝙈𝙍𝙀 is a striker. Not right now. He may develop into an elite striker. You got Ruud van Nistelrooy that's, coaching these guys. I loved on the sideline the other day when I was watching the game against Villa, when he pulled Rasmus aside and was pointing, hey, you need to be here. I love that. And it's only going to get better for Rasmus Højlund with Ruud van Nistelrooy. But go ahead.
I wonder why Ten Hag doesn't think like this. Okay, Bruno's struggling. Who can I put in that position who's going to get the ball, progress it, and create for others. Oh, let's think. Let's put Zersky there.
Yeah.
Or let me put Ahmad there. Or let's move Kobe up there. Bring Casemiro, or how about bring Ugarte in? There's what I was saying to Sanjeev this whole weekend. The coach has options, and he's not attempting the options. If you see Bruno struggling, bro, you don't have an injury problem anymore. Yank him, pull him out. Because that's just going to make the rest of the team feel more amped up to say, you know what? I got a chance to go and help this team. Whoever's backing up Bruno or in that other creative midfielder position, they're like, I'm never going to play, bro, no matter what. So guys will check out. They'll mentally check out and not be ready.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I saw was like, and I'm going to point this out, and I don't know if anyone else saw it, did you see 𝙈𝙊𝙍𝙀 and Ten Hag arguing?
Yes. I knew you were going to bring that up.
They were arguing on the sideline. I was like, good. Like, what are you doing?
It wasn't one of those like, yeah, coach, you're right. It was one of those like, no. Maybe he was telling him, you got to get Bruno out of there.
Yeah.
This is not working.
And that's what I think it was. I think he was yelling it like, you've got to get Bruno out. And like, but there was so much like discontent on like when Rashford came off. I don't know whether it's true. I don't know whether, the media were reading into the words too much. But from what someone put online is Rashford was saying, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like, Rashford, you deserve to get taken off in that game. Like, you deserve to you were this close to getting a red card. You deserve to get taken off the game. But, like, we're talking about you brought on Lindelof instead of Martinez. Like, at one point, if Harry Maguire hadn't got injured, we nearly had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's defense in.
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah, so it's like,
and Lindelof didn't play god awful.
He didn't. He played well. I would love to keep. I would like to keep Lindelof. If we come up with some like really good awful talent like Lenny Yoro, and we're about to sign Lenny Yoro, like another Lenny Yoro, fine, let Lindelof go. But he doesn't play bad in the games. Like when he comes on. Like he knows this team, he knows the defense. He didn't play bad, and I think we could have won the game.
Yeah, I actually thought we would. I don't think the Anthony substitution helped us at all.
No.
I think he should have. I still don't understand how Anthony is ever a choice over Ahmad. I'm just gonna put that out there.
No.
I felt Kobe or Eriksson should have came off. Eriksson played great. He played fine. I'm not punishing him, but he doesn't need to play 90 minutes 2 games in a row. He doesn't need to, especially when you get a fresh Ugarte on the bench. I thought that was a concern. Thought that would have helped the team. Some people are like, well, Ugarte's played like shit. I said, yeah, but we just needed him to play for about 25 to 30 minutes.
How is he going to learn the league?
That's what
if he's not coming on? Like, I honestly, I'm 100% convinced that Ten Hag doesn't want Ugarte in the team.
I feel the same way, my brother. And it's even worse now that Scotty's probably playing well in Napoli. He's probably
you see, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, Scotty scored in the first 30 seconds. He's playing Como. Like, come on. He's playing Como. Como would get relegated in the first year in the Premier League.
That's just reassurance for Erik ten Hag. And this is all speculation, everybody. I know we don't know what's going on, but to me, it felt like, well, it's already come out. The people said, journalists that I respect said that there was a back and forth between Ineos and Erik ten Hag over Scotty. He did not want to lose Scotty. And Ugarte was a Ineos target. So, yeah, there's a little bit pushback. But the guy's got to get minutes to get better. You can't just play him here, spot play here, and then sit him 2 games. 2 games.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, you can't blame him for the 2 games. And, like, the one in Europe bugged me more than the Aston Villa game because he's so used to playing in Europe. He's so used to playing these teams that are, like, slower paced. And the fact that you brought up, he played in the Portuguese league, so he knows how to play these teams, and you still leave him on the bench. And I want to touch on the point where, like with Eriksen and Casemiro, these are the two players that we heard that were supposed to be for sale in the season, and you're reverting back to these players instead of, playing the two teams that like the people that you've signed. And Ugarte's never going to learn the Premier League if you don't play him against teams like Aston Villa. Like, that's a perfect game. Like, okay, you make a mistake. Okay, you give the ball away. But it doesn't matter. Like, at this point in time for Manchester United, your job's on the line anyway. It bugged me because those two games were great for Ugarte to come in the last 20 minutes, because Eriksen and Casemiro, they're over 30. They can't play all these games anymore. And for me, it's kind of like, why are we leaving a 24-year-old on the bench who we just signed for 50 million to not play? So I just like wondering what your kind of thoughts on, like, why is Ugarte being left on the bench?
It makes absolutely no sense to me. He's an international starter for his team. He is someone who's defensively gets stuck in. He's someone who can get a quick turnover, get a good quick change of possession. He'll make a good pass. He hustles. I don't see him as a negative. The only thing I see negative that's going on with him, he's not getting time to get adjusted to the league.
Yeah.
Pulling out Kobe, Eriksen, either one of those would have helped the team because they played the whole game. They were leggy. Kobe looked so leggy. I just kept asking, how does a fresh Ugarte not help our team right now?
Yeah,
that's why I was like, we could win this game if Erik ten Hag made some different changes.
Yeah, and it's the substitute. The main thing that's bothering me about Erik ten Hag is the substitutions. Like with watching England so much, is like, this is the main reason I don't want Southgate in, is it's not that he can't take a team to a final or, the way he plays so much, is his inability to read the game. And I think that's what Ten Hag's major problem is in the Premier League. He doesn't know how to read the game. Like, we're 0-0 against Aston Villa. We're looking for a goal, and you take off your best striker and put 𝙈𝙊𝙍 on, who hasn't been playing well, and leave on Bruno, who has been playing horrendous. You put on Garnacho's on, who is clearly hurt. And that's kind of bothering me right now. It's like, why are you not reading the game? And it goes back to how I've said it in the past. Are you making these substitution decisions before the game?
It feels like it.
It does.
Because either it feels like it, or he definitely cannot read the game. He doesn't have a flow. He can't. I mean, we all watch the game and you see things like, okay, well, let me ask you this. When is it ever a good reason to say Eriksen should play 90 minutes for a game?
It's not.
You should never feel that you're in that position where you say Eriksen plays 90 minutes.
It's not a good decision. And before we go ahead and even a little more, I'm going to move over. I know this is going to be a quick transition, but I'm going to bring Mikey in real quick. So I'm just going to bring him in over here. Actually, I'm going to have to... No, I know. I'm sorry. I made your camera go crazy. Yes, here we're gonna have to move this one over. I apologize, everyone. We're gonna bring Mikey in. Who we got here? We got you.
What's up?
And then we got. I'm just gonna bring in this real quick. Boom, boom. We're gonna make quick transitions, and then we should have. There we go. We got Mikey in too. How you doing, Mikey?
What's up, y'all? I got tired of hearing the excuses. The excuses have to stop.
Well, there's no excuses for me. It's just a wondering. It's like, why are these players bad? To me, honestly, it's not excuses. It's why are these players? It's more asking a question rather than excuses for me.
Yeah, like it's not an excuse, but you have to wonder about the drop off. Like, even Rashford, when he had a drop off, we weren't having excuses. You got to be like, what's making this happen?
How long do you do that for? Because how long do you do that for until it starts sounding like excuses?
Well, how long do you do? How long do you give excuses for Eric Ten Hag? How long do you say we got to give him time?
I mean, until he
That's
gets it
the
right.
question. If we all knew the answers to these questions, we would know.
Until he gets it right. But I'm also not opposed to them moving him on neither.
Moving who on? Eric.
I'm not opposed to them moving Ten Hag on, but I said at the start of the season I'm gonna give him until I said I'll give him the season, but I'm okay with giving him until December. He has until December.
But is but let me ask you this though,
we have
Mikey.
8 more games till December. So
no, we have a lot more games until the end of December. Like if you're gonna say December, you're gonna have to say Christmas time because you can't bring a new manager in at the beginning of December. That's just gonna.
You know what I mean? Don't be.
I understand what you mean. I'm just for me, it's like, do you make the change now so you get the points in December, or do you wait and decide after December? Because they're never going to make the change. The change for Man United is either going to go now during the international break, or it's going to be January like it usually does. Do we make the change now and get those points? Because I think we would get the points, obviously, with a new manager coming in, we'd get the points up until January. Or do we make that decision in January and because for me, I would rather the new manager come in now and then go, okay, we're going to play a few games. Let's see what this team's about. Let's see what we need in January, rather than give him, a few seconds in January to make a quick decision.
Well,
the thing for me is that if you're going to do it, then just do it. It's taking too long. It's taking too long. And if you're waiting to see, what these next 2 games are going to... Okay, let me just start off by saying this. Forget that question. This is what I'm on Ineos watch now. This is Ineos watch now. Because Ineos is showing me that they don't know what the hell they got is going on. This is how I know. If you have to wait till Aston Villa and after seeing what happened in the week, after seeing what happened at the weekend, why are you still giving people a chance for games like, well, he drew, so maybe we can, and we're going to have a meeting, and then it's like, somebody be cutthroat and make a decision. Either ride it out with him or don't, because you did it last season and he won the FA Cup and you're like, I will keep him after you courted other coaches. That's a bad look. That is a terrible look for a manager. For a manager to look at his guys, they'd be like, they don't even know if they want you or not. Why should I play for you? Why should I run my socks off for you? The guys upstairs don't even know if they want you. The new guys at that, not even the Glazer guys we don't see. So I'm on Ineos watch. This is terrible. This is a terrible position that they put Ten Hag in, and Ten Hag isn't helping himself. But this is a terrible position to be in as a manager that's supposed to be a leader of men, when there's the top guys don't know, and they keep saying, well, this game and that game, and we'll see that game. Do it or don't do it.
I think they may.
Commit to something and say, hey, we gave him the new contract. We're going to give him until this many run of games, and if it hasn't improved by then, go on. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. He could go on and win the next 7 games, probably. Who knows?
Yeah, if you look back at Arsenal, like the third season of Arsenal, the first 7 games they were horrendous. They were like, after the first 5 games, they were bottom of the league, and then all of a sudden they just picked it up and ended up, finishing 5th. Kind of like United in his first year. We had our worst season, as a manager, and then we ended up finishing 3rd. So it's kind of, for me, I think they should have made the change in the summer. Like, I know hindsight's 2020. I think they should have made the change in the summer.
Well, if they're going to make the change, and if the guy they want is Tuchel,
it is the guy. Yeah, it's the guy. If they want someone, it's Tuchel. If you're
going to do it now. Don't wait till we go. Ship is sunk, and then bring him in, because the guy's available now. So if you're going to do it now. Save some points. But I'm agreeing with Mikey.
But you don't know what's going to happen if they bring him in. You're saying that as if you know for a fact that he's going to turn the ship around. You don't know.
Nobody.
It might be the same story. It might need to sack him.
I'm just saying, if that's the guy you want and he's available now, do it now.
Yeah.
If you have questions about the guy Eric Ten Hag now, and you're like, we don't know, but if it doesn't work, we're going to get Thomas Tuchel. Just get him. Just get him.
No, yeah.
And then let him work his way out and possibly save the season a little bit. But like we said, we don't know with Eric. My thing with Eric Ten Hag It's not his lineups. Yes, tactically I'm concerned, but his in-game feel is so concerning to me. I just don't understand what he's seeing, because I don't know how 95% of the world, 99% of the world can watch a match and say Bruno is struggling, and you don't replace. You don't even attempt to replace. You don't attempt to take him out. That cannot be good for your locker room. It cannot be good for the guys who are behind Bruno, because they're all got to be saying, "There's nothing I can do to play."
I agree. But personally, for me, it's like, if you're going to make the change, you need to make it now. December is horrendous for any team. Like, it's jam packed. There's like 7 games in. Like, it's the hardest league in the world to play for in December, because every other league has a winter break. England doesn't, and so it's, if you're going to make that change, make it now. That manager has no time. If you bring him in January, he has no time to pick who he wants to come in. No idea to evaluate the team. Obviously, clearly, we need a new left back. Obviously, we need a more out-and-out striker. Those 2 positions for me are the most important for Man United right now. So how is a new manager supposed to, evaluate this team and go, okay, this is the player I want. These are the strikers I want. You can't do that after one game and then all of a sudden we're in the transfer window. So for me, like, I honestly wish Ten Hag could turn this around. I just didn't see it after the Villa game. I just saw more and more confusion on the sideline. I saw the fact that Ten Hag and Ruud van Nistelrooy arguing was not a good thing. And then Rashford's comments, or whatever he was saying as he was coming off, clearly wasn't a good thing. What do you think, Mikey?
My thing is that I'm not saying give the job to the full-time manager.
Yeah.
After that, you give it to Ruud, let Ruud go, and then you steer the ship from there. I'm sure that these guys have already talked about Tuchel, probably even talked to him and said, hey, is there anybody that you have in mind if you do get the job by chance? Like, is there anybody that you think could be? Because I'm sure Tuchel's not just at home sleeping and then getting a call and like, hey, you want to coach Man United? That's not how it's going. They're probably talking to him. They probably talked to him already, and he probably has the structure involved or things that he wants to do already if he was to take the job. So if you're gonna do it, and stop playing and stop making this big grandiose thing, because it's not a good look for your team, for the team at all.
Yeah.
And then the second part about it is that you're not going to turn your back on the guy that got you there, right? So, okay, cool. He's going to lose you your job. He's going to lose your job, and that's what it is. Bruno is going to lose your job. Your questionable subs are going to lose your job. But at the beginning of this season, what we were saying is, Ineos are going to get more hands-on with the team. They're going to take the reins from Erik Ten Hag. Ten Hag's going to be able to be more of a coach now. Are they doing that?
No.
Is that what's happening now? Is that why they're underperforming? Because Ineos has their hands more in it now? Because when it seems like Ten Hag had the reins, we could win. We could win something. We're a little bit better than what we were now. Now, granted, it's still pretty early, but it's getting to a point where it's like, all right, now, bro, there's some teams that's look at the top. I think the top amount of points is what, 20, 17?
Yeah.
Come on now. This is insane. Yeah. So if you're going to do it. If not, but it's not looking, I'm not trusting. I'm not liking what Ineos is doing. I'm starting to lose a little bit of confidence in them being able to do it. Plus, all their other teams are not performing as well either. None of their teams are performing well.
No.
So,
yeah. For me, I think Chelsea and Arsenal are the best teams in the league right now.
I'm talking about Ineos teams.
Ineos teams, yeah.
Of all the Ineos teams, we are the worst one, but the other two aren't that much better. No. Lausanne Sport and Nice aren't performing that much better. We're all struggling. So this idea that we're going to let them take the reins and they're going to come in and they're going to have more of a say and is that what we're seeing now, or is that what's happening now?
Yeah, I would say this though: the only difference between the other teams and what he's got in right now is the talent of what he has in the backroom staff. Like the backroom staff of Man United as an individual person, is a phenomenal is a phenomenal backroom staff. Like, I'm not going to blame Brada on this. Brada only came, and I'm not going to blame Ashworth. These guys only came in July. They need time. They need time to evaluate every single aspect of Manchester United, not just the team.
And it could be an aspect where people are now realizing, well, now that they've been there a couple months, they're realizing the magnitude of the job and what needs to be done. They're realizing how, financially, this is not as easy as a job as they thought they could. They got the stadium issues on mind. So I think there might be some distractions. And I think that they put a lot of trust into Eric to not have this bad of a start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
no, I agree. I think they expected a better start from Erik ten Hag to allow them to concentrate on the backroom staff.
Yeah, I guarantee this was not. I mean, yeah, you should have a backup plan for any situation, but to have Manchester United off to their worst start is not. I guarantee Ineos would never had a plan for this early. So
I don't respect it. Only because just recently you're talking about we're planning to win it in 2028. We're planning.
It's funny.
That is such a bad thing to say.
Crazy.
That is such a bad thing to say. As somebody that runs a football club or is helping to run a football club to bring it back to its former glory, I know nobody came into the season saying, United, we're going to win the league this year or next year. Nobody thought that. Nobody in their right mind thought that, right? But to say that in the beginning, like when we're not doing so well, and then come out with that, what kind of vote of confidence does that have to give me as the person that's the consumer? That gives me nothing. That gives me out that's a downer. These are all bad things to say. And they've been constantly doing something or saying something stupid. Like the first thing was the women's team. Okay, I got past that. That's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because they're flying. The women are flying. Yeah,
the women's team are flying right now.
They're flying. You know what I'm saying? But like then, we're really planning to make a run for it in 2028. Now that it's looking a little hazy. What the hell is that's like saying, man, I really could have beat you in the fight. I just wasn't trying. Like, bro, you save those types of things for off season. That's just a bad look, especially when you're in the midst of a coaching controversy where you don't have that much confidence in your coach. Listen, sack him. If you're gonna sack him, and let's get the next guy in. If you're not, fine. If you're gonna give it to Rude, give it to Rude. Let him see it out, but do something. Something has to happen.
Yeah, I think that, the whole situation with the coach is affecting the team. I really do. And it's not just at Man United. You can see it at other teams too when the news comes out that the coach is about to be fired or whatnot. There's always an issue. It's like, who am I playing for? Like, what's going on at Man United? So for me, like, I wish Ten Hag could turn it around. For me, I'm at the point now where it's like, just fire him, bring in Thomas Tuchel, because clearly that's the guy you want. I don't care with Rude or whatever. Like, bring him in. Because I'm seeing reports today of Michael Carrick coming back and being the interim manager.
That was crazy. I read that too.
Yeah, being the interim manager. Like, you don't think the players don't read this stuff? Fire Ten Hag, bring in Thomas Tuchel after the international break, get this over and done with, and let them play. Okay? And then, because the one thing I do like about Tuchel is a manager that I respect. Like, he has that kind of, you don't want to play, you're playing crap, you're done. That's the problem. I said this at the beginning. The problem I'm having right now is you don't understand the game. You don't, because you clearly can't see what's going on with the substitutions. Before the game, the players are clearly coming out. Mikey, like, I'm going to give you credit on this one. You called it at the beginning of the season. This team doesn't have more than 30 minutes in them. They don't. They just really don't have more than 30 minutes. So to bring in a new manager, for me, he's lost the room. He's lost the dressing room. The only way you're going to fix that is bringing in a hard ass like Thomas Tuchel and going, no, you're done. Like, I don't know if anyone saw the video the other day of the Brentford manager. Like, this is a guy we're thinking about bringing in, And this guy's sitting in that, well, you guys had a bad half. You conceded 3 goals. That's okay. That's not the fucking manager Man United needs. We need a guy that's coming in and going, no, you're playing shit. You're out. Done. Bye. I'm one of those people in the world that if you're like, I don't care. Like a lot of people, I used to be a boss. A lot of people hated it because I'll be like, you're doing crap. You're done. Bye. I don't care. I'm a hard ass. I think the world needs a hard ass. I think Man United needs a hard ass. And I'm like, listen, you're playing shit. You're done. I'm subbing you. I'm going to we're going to make a change. If that guy does better, he's going in the next game. That's just how I feel. And I think the players have got too much control in the game now.
I think, Mark, I'm sorry. Let me get this off and I'll let you get it, JC. My bad. Also, we're not bought, so we can go as long as we want. Cheese says, I thought Tuchel was a nice guy, too nice for the Bayern job. That was a problem for him at Bayern. They were saying, oh, he's not the quality of manager. He rides his bike to work. They literally did not like the fact that he rode his bike. They didn't think he was ruthless enough. They didn't think he was cutthroat enough, especially when Bayern started to underperform. Those were concerns that Bayern had of him leading up to his sacking. So, like,
really,
yeah, these are legitimate concerns. He's not there anymore for those. These are things that they were saying. They thought he was too meek and mild.
But let me ask you this though: has he won every single place he's been at though?
I mean, listen,
including the Premier League,
Your logic, he kind of had a Benz at fucking Bayern to win at. I don't think Bayern is a good enough indicator of how good you could be because Vincent Kompany's doing
but he won in the Premier League.
Yeah, he won there. He won a cup competition.
Yeah.
He didn't win the league. And what did Ollie say? Winning the league is an indicator of progress, not cup competitions. Now, granted,
but Ollie never won the cup competition either.
Granted, is it not a knockout competition, the Champions League?
Yeah, and as Sanjeev said, Tuchel also rejected to stay at. It wasn't they wanted
because they were talking shit.
Yeah, he rejected to stay at Bayern. So for me, it's like.
Yeah, because they started courting other managers in front of him. They did the Ten Hag game, and Ten Hag stayed at Man United. Tuchel wasn't playing that. Tuchel's like, nah, y'all want to go and look for other managers that's turning you down and come back to me? I'm out.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, but other than Tuchel, though, like, I don't, like, my perfect manager, you know who my perfect manager would be. It'd be the Villa coach. Like, I think he would be fantastic at Man United. I don't think United are going to go out and get him. Not, at least not right now. I don't think he's going to swap Villa for Man United right now. But
I don't think
I'm going to ask you this: if not Tuchel, who would you to take? And also the chat, who would you take as the Man United manager? It's got to be a hard ass for me because I think over the last couple of years, well, not last 10 years, we've let this dressing room dictate what goes on. And I think that shit needs to stop now. And I think it's happening again. Who would you guys have? If not Tuchel, who?
Personally, I like Nagelsmann too.
Okay.
I think he's another character type. You just got to be a strong character for me. I mean, I would love to have the Don at Real Madrid, but anyway. But Nagelsmann would be a guy for me. I think he's a person who's committed to be who he is, and we need someone who's going to tell guys you're not playing, and I think players respect that when you tell them straight up front what your situation is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Go ahead, Mikey.
This is probably be unpopular here, but
don't say Solskjaer.
Zinedine Zidane.
The only part, like, I would love Zidane. Honestly, I would. But the only thing I see with Zidane, and he said this is, yeah, the only problem I have with that, and it's not to do with his tactics, it's not to do with he hasn't won anything. It's to do with the fact that he's already said two things. I don't want to come in mid-season, and two, I don't want to coach a team where I can't speak the language. He's already,
you of all the candidates that are out there,
yeah,
you asked the question. I
Yeah.
pick him because he ticks all the boxes that you.
No, he does. No, trust me. I agree with you.
He's a big character. He's won where he's been. He's won the biggest tournaments. Okay. Now, granted, he's had the best players to win those tournaments, but I can't fault a coach for coaching what he has. Right? Like you're not going to take a job at Grimsby Town and expect to win the Champions League. So, you know, you're not going to take a job at Real Madrid and expect not to win it. That's an expectation there.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. So I think Zidane for me, just because, and also he brings that kind of cachet that makes people want to come and play. They want to come and play there because they're like, I want to play for. I grew up watching this dude. I think he's some people say he's one of the greatest midfielders of all time. So
who, like Zidane?
Some people would say that.
I'd say Zidane is probably the greatest midfielder of all time. Not one of the greatest.
I don't think so, but people will say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm an Iniesta guy. So I give it to Iniesta. But, neither here nor there, people put him in that. So he gives you that kind of cachet that's like, yo, I want to play for this dude. I want to, things like that. So kind of like how, I remember a long time ago, people wanted to Thierry Henry to come and coach some big teams, and they're like, I would play for him, but he can't coach. He just can't do it. So yeah, but it's that kind of cachet and personality and larger than life personality that I feel like. But I know it won't happen.
I know this is probably going to be an unpopular decision from Man United fans because of who he played for, and to be fair, he's only been in the job for a couple of years.
He's good too. I know.
What about Alonso? Would you guys be okay with Alonso? I know he turned down the Liverpool job. He just went unbeaten in the Bundesliga, which has never happened before.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I want to see if he can. I want to see if that wasn't a flat lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
I want to see if you can sustain some more success for that, right? Because Ten Hag was successful at Ajax, right? He was successful at Ajax, and that's what kind of brought us in to, he's won at Ajax, he's won everywhere, he's won it. Look how good they were in the Champions League, blah, 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 blah. But we all know Ajax is an institution. It's not just the coach, right? It's a whole thing that goes with it. Now, they haven't started playing kind of bad when Ten Hag left, but it's a whole nother other mitigating factors that go into why they're playing bad, right? Their ownership is bad, and management and all that other stuff fell apart once Ten Hag left. They didn't want to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'd be okay with Xabi Alonso. I'd be okay, and people don't like this because he didn't do too well. I think it was at Everton, but Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
I know he coached a rival, but I'd see what he could do. Listen, this is where I'm at. If you're gonna sack Ten Hag, because I'm not Ten Hag in or out anymore. I don't think it really makes a difference at this point.
Yeah.
Right. I think just to say that doesn't even, because we have player issues and all that. I think if you're going to sack guys and you're going to go to Chelsea route, start doing it. Start getting guys in, start seeing what they can do, and start giving them that hot seat. I think Maresca is performing the way he is. I'm sorry to hog so much time. I haven't been able to talk for a couple
You're good, brother.
episodes now. But I think Maresca's starting to do well now. Not to mention he has an amalgamation of players that he could choose from, but he knows that hot seat. He knows I got to get results. This is strictly results with Chelsea. It's not about player FC, who likes who, whatever the case may be. They went and bought all those players so they can mix and match and decide who's going to be there.
Yeah.
So the hot seat is very relevant for him, and he knows if the minute I start messing up and not doing well, I got to make a change or I will be out the door. And I feel like that hot seat is not what Ineos is doing. Ineos is taking it game by game. Oh, if you win this, we'll talk to that manager. We're going to talk to this person. We're going to have a meeting, everybody, and see what's going on. You don't have to have a meeting. You guys were all just watching the game together. Yeah. That's the meeting. That's the meeting. Alex is there.
Yeah. I got a question for you and also the people in the chat. I've noticed a trend now when it comes to managers. A lot of managers who are on the older side are not really being hired anymore. You look at the Chelsea manager is only 44. You look at the Brighton manager who's only 40 years old. who are both doing extremely well. So it seems to be the new trend now that, you know, the older managers are kind of out of touch of the new football. Do you think that's a route we should go? Like a newer kind of, like a younger manager who's more into touch with the game now than what it used to be? Because you look at Jose. Jose, obviously, to me, is always going to be rated as one of the greatest managers of all time. But, you know, he's at a team that's not huge anymore. He's not a Real Madrid. He's not a Bayern. He's not a Man United. He's not a Chelsea. You know, he's not a big, massive club anymore. So for me, what's your guidance kind of in the chat too? What's your thoughts on a younger manager? You know, the brighter manager, bringing him in and, you know, having that ability to connect more, as, you know, the internet says, with the younger players. I'll start with you, Casey.
Well,
what are you thinking on that?
I was going to say this earlier. I have a little concern with bringing in a coach where Manchester United is their first big job.
Yeah.
I just think it can be a little bit overwhelming. Now, answering your question, and with me saying that, I might have eliminated all the younger coaches.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, but listen, it's got to be someone who's strong, someone who, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, we've all said Fergie couldn't coach today. He couldn't coach today. That Fergie, today's players in every sport, it's different. You know, every sport, and I hate to drift from footy, every sport, younger coaches are doing well because they can communicate with today's type player. I'm not opposed to it, but coaching in Manchester United for your first big job, it can be crazy. But I'm not opposed to it. I just
want to point on something real quick. Like, if you look at for me right now, I'm not saying, I'm going to take Pep out of this. I'm sorry, Mike, I'll get to you in a second. If you take out you take out Pep, who are the two best managers right now who are doing well in the Premier League? You look at Chelsea's coach and you look at Arsenal's coach, right? For me, they're the two best managers as of right now. Like, the teams are doing phenomenal. Guess where they were the assistant manager for? Who were both the assistant manager? Man City.
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Man City. Pep's former assistant coaches were Chelsea, Enzo at Man City, and also Arteta and Man City. Now, Enzo ended up leaving and going to Leicester, who instantly gave him promotion. And then Arteta took a little while. Can we not look at the assistant coach of Man City right now? Like, I know it's Man City, but I know Lillo is the assistant manager of Man City right now. Can we not poach him real quick? Because
that kind of solidifies how good Pep is. Huh?
It does, yeah, it does.
That his underlings have taken his style and done their own thing and been successful with it.
Yeah,
I'd say Emery too. I think Emery is probably one of the better coaches, only because he's won Europa. He's the Europa League king. He's the king of that competition. Yeah. So, like, you know, I think he actually might be better than Arteta for that reason alone. Yeah. Because he'll find himself someplace new where the players aren't as good, and he'll find a way to win something or progress them to a point, and then it'll end up going a little bit south, and he'll have to leave. Yeah, like the only problem with the assistant coach at Man City right now, Lillo, is he's 58 years old. So I think that's a little too old for Manchester United. Even though I think he would do well, I think he's not been one of those young managers that Pep's had.
I'm 52.
Yeah, I know, but like 58.
You ain't young.
Yeah, you're 52.
Ask your hamstrings.
You're 11 years old. I'm usually the oldest one in the room, dude. I'm 41. I'm usually the oldest guy in the room. But yeah, no, I think it, like Mikey said, it goes to show how good Pep is and how good Pep has had a not just on his team, but on overall the players, on overall the coaches that he's, worked with, that, at the end of the day, the top 3 coaches in the Premier League right now are either Pep or they've worked under Pep. Now, I know Ten Hag has worked under Pep before, but that was a league below it. It wasn't directly under Pep.
What do you think are Erik ten Hag's biggest issues right now? Because
reading the game.
We're not asking for too much. We're not asking for too much out of him. Handle the games better.
Yeah,
and,
for me,
that's basically what we have our problems with him. His substitutions and reading of the game.
Yeah, I think reading the game is his biggest problem right now, because last season, for his first season, I don't think finishing 3rd was because he was that good a coach. I think Liverpool had a fucking horrendous season. They ended up finished 5th, which would have, if they had a better season, we would have finished in 4th. We only finished, a point or 2 above Newcastle. Newcastle kind of capitulated. They had a lot of injuries towards the end of the season. Last year, we ended up seeing a lot of injuries for Manchester United, which was, for me, due to rotation and within the game. This year, we're seeing more rotation, but unable to read the game when we are rotating. I'm all for Manchester United rotating. I'm all for De Ligt and Martinez being benched. I'm all for that. But you have to read the game and go, okay, Bruno's not playing well. I think he did well in the situation with Rashford this weekend. I think Rashford was, about to be sent off. I think that was a lazy-ass tackle and quite frankly deserved a second yellow. I think he should have been sent off for that tackle. So I thought he read the game well in that instance. But you've got to understand, if the game is going badly, you need to take the players off, and not late either. This is another thing with me with Ten Hag, and I think this is why I don't want Southgate in, is you're unable, both of those managers are unable to read. If a decent coach was a coach for England, I think we would have won one of those titles. But unable to read what's going on in the game is a big issue for him, because okay, Bruno's not playing well. We've been calling for, it's not just this channel. Every Man United channel out there, every Man United fan out there has been calling for 𝙈𝙀𝙀 to drop back in that 10 position. He's not a striker. I don't understand why we bought him as a striker. He's a 10. He is literally Bruno's replacement in 2 years when Bruno goes. So drop him back, put him in as the 10, and let him control. Oh my God, could you imagine 𝙈𝙀𝙀 playing a through ball to Rasmus Højlund? It's perfect. We can see it. Why is the manager not seeing this? And Mikey, I wanted to touch on this real quick. Is what do you think that argument? Because you weren't here when me and Casey were having that chat. What do you think the argument was about? Because it was a clear argument.
Well, with Rashford?
No, there was during the game, Rude and they were having an argument on the sideline.
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. It could be a number of things. The thing with those kinds of things is that we're not seeing them the entire time.
Yeah.
Right. We're seeing when they're arguing, when it's getting a little hot, when somebody's getting a yellow card on the how Rude did the other day.
Yeah.
So it could be anything, but hell, I like to see it. I like to see that y'all are, hey, I don't like that this is happening. I'm okay with that. I see it in football all the time. Guys arguing. I seen one time Peyton Manning was arguing with Jeff Saturday one time, and Peyton Manning told him just shut up and block. So I like to see that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody, this is a collective effort. And if I don't like something you're doing and we're in the heat of battle, then we should argue. But I think my thing with Ten Hag, to your question before, Casey, he's stubborn. He's stubborn, and he has a certain way of play that he wants to do. It's just that play is just too slow. It's too slow. If you watch other teams are keeping the ball, recycling possession, and going after it. They're finding ways to break down low blocks. They're finding ways. They're not just counterattacking teams. They counterattack when they can. Counterattacking is not a bad thing if you can do it successfully, right? Some of the better teams, you don't want to see City on a breakaway. You don't want to see that. That's an ugly sight for any defender. So yes, but they also have a style of play where they're going to recycle possession, keep the ball. Ten Hag won't pull his guys. He has his favorites clearly. He won't pull them because they got him to the mountaintop in third, and then these cup competitions. So like he just won't do that. And like I also think that these guys, a lot of these guys haven't played in this league, and we put a lot of expectation on them coming in and doing better than what they should be, right?
Yeah.
So if let's just say so hypothetically that in June, that's too far ahead.
February.
Let's say February, these guys start finding it out, and Xerxes firing, Ugarte's doing well, and all these other guys, then they would have had time to settle in. I think that we brought them in, we bedded them in, we got guys out that weren't performing, and then these are just a new row of guys that's just not performing right now, you know? So another thing is Southgate. Put some respect on Southgate's name, only because he's gotten you the farthest that you've ever gotten to in cup football. I mean, international football is way different.
I give him credit
of a game than winning 38 games in a Premier League season.
I give him credit for where he took England. He got to 2 finals, but the problem is, I don't know if you've seen an England game.
God.
Like, I'll give you this, right? Watch England next week. And I'm serious. Watch England next week compared to watch England during the Euros. It is a completely different team.
Didn't they lose?
What?
Didn't they lose a couple games ago?
No, we're unbeaten since the Euro finals.
It's also not like a tough thing to say. Like, you have the best player in the country that created the game, so you should be performing, right? Like, you should be performing, but it's not easy to win at that level.
Shit,
right?
England created what? The UK created what? They created a lot of sports. They created cricket. They created golf. It doesn't mean we're good at them.
Really?
You should be good. I said you should be. You should be good at them. You should be the best at those games. You created them. That's like saying the United States shouldn't be good at basketball. We should be. It's our game.
Yeah. No, I get it.
It's our game. If we're not good at it, then we really have to look at ourselves and be like, why are our American football players doing well? Now, they don't really play football everywhere else.
Yeah.
But, just saying, like, if we weren't good at it, baseball is another one. Baseball is actually kind of weird because we're not the best at baseball.
China's good at baseball.
Japan's good at baseball.
Yeah, Mexico's good at baseball.
The best player in the league is Japanese.
Dominican.
No, I just want to touch on like a couple of points that we had in our description is, did Maguire and Evans deserve the start in the next game?
Yes, only because Xerxes, poor Xerxes. I'm about to give him hell, and it's not even about.
Hey, we're close to his return.
Only
not Xerxes, Yarrow.
Yeah, I think because 𝗈𝗏 and Martinez were so shambolic in the last game, he dropped them, and I'm okay with that if you keep that the same. If
consistency,
you drop Bruno, if you drop Rashford, the first thing you do is when these defenders that play well most of the time decide to underperform, is drop them. That's the first. Yeah. So that makes me feel like you favor the attackers or the midfield players a little bit more to give them more chances than your defense.
Yeah.
Or you really have a highly touted defense in your head and you think, all right, well, these guys can do a job. Unless they just had knocks and we didn't know, or whatever the case may be, I think it was okay to drop them because, look, I was going to say Phil Jones.
Please, God, no.
Evans ended up being the man of the match. So I don't think it was a complete terrible thing. There's still 2 competent defenders. I'll say competent, but I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. But you got to do that across the board. You can't let Bruno start.
Yeah,
Bruno's been bad. Drop him.
What'd you say, Casey?
Now you don't want to play Ant-Man all of a sudden. What's that about?
Yeah,
I don't think he should come back with them after the international break. You got to come back with your guys you pay top dollar for. I understand how well Evans and Maguire play, but we're coming back from the international break. Both of these guys should be fresh. I believe you got to go back with 𝗈𝗏 and Martinez, and you got to get this going. You got to get them going. I understand Johnny Evans is amazing to me, but if these guys were brought in to resurrect this defense, you got to go back with them.
Yeah. You know, when we come back, we have Brentford, Fenerbahce, West Ham, Leicester. I'm not being funny. They're 4 games that we need 3 points from each one of those games. There's like if he stays, there needs to be 12 points from all of those games. There needs to be. Like that, like if you like considering how far we're 14th in the league, if you drop points at 2 of those, then we're in serious trouble. Because right now we don't finish top 4. What are we? 10 points from the top. I think. Let's look at real quick the standings real quick. Liverpool on 18th. We're 10 points from top of the league. That's horrendous for 7 games gone.
You're gonna be in a hole you can't get out of.
Yeah, you're gonna we talk about 10 points from top of the league. Shit, we're only 6 points from bottom, the bottom 3.
Shit, we're closer
to the bottom than we are the top. Like that's horrendous. Like we can't.
It's a scary thought. It's a scary feeling.
Obviously, we're never going to be down there. Like, you know, Everton are climbing. You know, they're on 5 points, but you know, Palace are on 3 points. We're on 8 points from 7 games. That's horrendous for Manchester United. 14th after 7 games is not something that Manchester United should ever be. We're lower than Bournemouth.
There's some.
Let that sink in. Lower than Bournemouth in the league.
There are players that have more goals than our entire team does. 1 player.
Yeah.
So that just can't. You can't be successful that way. Once again, like I said in the beginning, where are these goals going to come from? Where are they going to come from?
Great question.
Yeah.
Where are they coming from?
And I think he has some problems with guys like Ahmad and Ugarte, because I think he's played Ahmad out of form, and Ugarte, it feels like he doesn't like him. Now, those 2 players, if I was either one of them, I wouldn't be happy right now.
No. Like, Ugarte, like, Ahmed, I'm going to say this. Like, Ahmed hasn't exactly played, like, he's played well, but he hasn't taken the team, like, storm like he did at the end of the season or in the preseason. Like, me and Mikey, we were at the game in South Carolina. He played phenomenal. Like, he's been not off. He just hasn't performed as well as he did last season. So I can see why you make that change. But why do you make that change? Like, we all know this. We all know what's going to happen when fucking Anthony comes on. The ball goes to him. He does his little fake. I'm going to go down the right, and then he passes it backwards. Like, why? Why are we bringing him on? Like, it drives me insane. Like, that anybody that can think that this is a good player. I just want to touch on Sanjeev. Love those England's take.
You wanted to what?
What?
You wanted to touch on Sanjeev?
No, I just wanted to touch on Sanjeev's point. Like, love those. Like, I know that Sanjeev has a thing against England, so I just wanted to touch on his point real quick. I'll touch on Sanjeev any day of the week. I do every week.
What does he have? What is he saying about England?
Sanjeev, he's Indian. He hates England.
Bro, India got so many people, and why are they so bad at football? I don't understand.
Who?
India has so many players, but 0 ballers. What is that?
Yeah. It's all good, but you know, and then like kind of the last point I want to touch on at the end of this is, have you guys seen how many Man United players are dropping out their international duty right now?
I think it's good. Good.
Is it good, or is it because like are we about to start to see last year again, or do you think they're just dropping out to kind of like, it's not that big of a thing, like we're not playing in a tournament or not playing for a tournament?
Be able to prioritize what games are important or not.
After Luke Shaw's unprofessionalism, I think it's I like how they are prioritizing the team. Garnacho said he has a knock. He won't go.
He's out.
Mazzarri has a knock. He won't go.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. You know, Luke Shaw to me is an ultimate unprofessional athlete right now. I'm pretty much, if I was any else, I'd be, well, to answer your question, I'm okay with it. I think it's fine.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
That's
what's the competition?
What is it?
England, I don't believe it's a friendly.
Is it
Let me have a
Nations
look.
League?
Yeah, I think it's the Nations League.
Yeah, I do not care about the Nations League.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
the Nations League.
UEFA and FIFA who's doing all this stuff. They're running these guys into the ground. The players need to take their careers back and say, no, I'm gonna take.
Who won the last Nations League?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Question.
But this is the worst part, right? So we've got England have Greece on October the 10th. They have Finland on October the 13th, and then next month we have Greece on November the 14th and Ireland on November the 17th. Why are they playing these Nation League games? It means nothing.
Against nothing teams. No offense to shout out to all my Irish people, man. I love you to death, but I don't care to watch that. I just like when the United States plays Paraguay, I don't care. I don't care to watch that. That's nothing. It means nothing. It's not. Yeah, the Nation League. Like I said, who won the last Nation League?
Yeah, I don't remember Spain or something. It doesn't matter because like you're putting these Nation League teams in, so you're putting more and more like European games in with it. Like for me, if I was like the owner of Man United, I'm like, you're not going. I'm like, no, you're not going. Like we play too much as it is. Like if we had a winter break, fine, okay, go. But we don't have a winter break. We actually have more games in the winter break than most teams do in a singular month in England. So like I don't understand it. Like England beat Finland 2-0 and they beat Ireland 2-0. It's like stupid.
You know what's gonna happen? And I was talking to Casey about this on the phone. But with this uptick of games, we're gonna see more guys get busted for using enhancers because they have to be able to recover.
Yeah, recover quickly. From the game.
I feel like they're already doing it. You know, they're already doing it. It's kind of lackadaisical in how they actually test.
Yeah,
but we're gonna see
especially stuff that helps you heal.
Yeah. What was that, Casey?
Especially stuff that's gonna help you heal.
Yeah,
you know, they're probably gonna. Like Mikey says, they gotta be doing it. It's just too much.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Yeah, it's
and the
too
fat
much.
Cats don't care because they're all making deals with these countries and stadiums and cities saying, "Oh, we promising you this, promise you that," and they're just treating these guys like they're video games.
For me is if you're gonna add these European like these national games in, then you need to expand the team that the Premier League's allowed. You know what I mean? Like, okay, right now, let's say they're allowed. I think it's around 29 players that they're allowed. Expand it to 35. Like, okay, you can sign more players. If that's what you want to do, if you want to add more games, allow the teams to sign more players.
Yeah.
You know they don't care, bro. Like
no, I know they don't.
Like UEFA, bro. They just want the So UEFA for me with this expanded Champions League, it's just a response to the Super League idea, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I feel like the Super League is going to be another question in the next few years. But these players have to really make a stand, and I feel like Roger was right.
Yeah.
To be saying what he was saying, I was on his side. I'm like, bro, the quality is gonna drop. It's gonna drop when guys can't go, even in the NBA.
And then look what happened to him.
We shouldn't be playing 82 games in the NBA. We should play like 60 because now guys are doing things like load management. But like I can't. Yeah. I'm playing too much. I'm playing 41 minutes a night on the road. I was in Salt Lake City last night. Now I'm in Phoenix. Now I'm in Seattle, and I'm averaging 17 points. But look how much mileage I'm taking on.
Yeah. What happened to Rodri after he said that?
Hurt himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 2 days later.
2 games later, he tore his ACL.
No, actually, 2
granted,
days.
An ACL tear can happen from going down the stairs.
No, it can.
That's not indicative of fatigue.
You're right, but I just think it's ironic how 2 games after he says that he's playing too many games, he tears his ACL.
Yeah. Sad. I hate it for him.
Babylon is wicked.
Yeah.
Conspiracies. I'm joking.
Nah.
Yeah, I
and you would think these owners would defend this. They're paying top dollar for these guys to play.
Oh, they get money.
And then they get hurt.
They get money for them for their participation in the leagues.
Yeah.
They get paid. It's like that's a check. The deeper you go into the tournaments is a check.
No, I absolutely agree. With that being said, we're at 9:20, so we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Is there anything you guys want to say? We're in our international break now. We've got a 2-week break. Most of our players are not going on international duty by the looks of it. What do we... Let me ask you this. What do we expect when we come back? Are we seeing a new manager? Are we seeing Manchester United get 12 points from these games? Like, from each of you, what do you expect when we come back?
I know this is probably very anti to say. I have no expectations, bro. I'm tired. I'm tired of thinking something or what they should do, what's the logical thing to do, and they obviously do something else. So I'm just at this point where I'm just throwing my hands up, I'm buckling my seatbelt, and I'm just here.
Yep. Casey?
I am actually, after you read our position in the table and the games that we have coming up after the international break, I'm a little concerned that if we drop points with these teams, Ineos' hands are going to get forced immediately.
Yeah.
You just can't be in the bottom three, Manchester United. You just can't. You just can't. And I'm with Mikey. I don't expect anything because I haven't seen anything to make me expect change.
No, just imagine we get relegated. Just imagine.
Dude, like, yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. Like, remember what I said earlier? After 6 games, Arteta was bottom of the league, you know, in his 3rd season. So, with that being said,
that's the same though. I don't think that's the same because, like, it was 3 games that they were at the bottom. It was 3.
Was it?
It was the first 3 games. I've seen people float that comparison online a lot. Like, Arteta in his 3rd season, they were at the bottom. Yeah, it's after 3 games.
Yeah,
anybody could be at the bottom after.
They also got
games.
smashed by City 5-0, so that didn't really help. Yeah. But with that being said,
we can't talk about getting smashed.
Yeah. But with that being said, though, tomorrow night we got KC's show, so please check into that. You know, I know it's a little late on the East Coast, but please check into see. Mikey, you gonna be on tomorrow?
I'm gonna try. I got a break today because I got help. The in-laws are here. And real quick, shout out to 𝗕𝗓𝙁𝙀 back in it. 18 months, they can't keep him down.
The guy's a cheat.
Can't keep him down. Keep going, bro.
Would you real quick? Would you take him back at Man United?
Oh no, hell no.
I didn't think so. But tomorrow night you got those Atlanta Red. Oh no, Casey, give your own show a shout out. Come on, give your own show.
Tomorrow night on LA Talk Radio, we got those Casual Reds. We'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, all that. There's gonna be the panel of Stateside Reds.
Are people gonna be cussing at me on that show?
Yeah. Oh, we don't need the 2 of you together.
Am I getting cussed at again on that show?
No, I addressed that already, and we've made banter about it on this side. There was a lot of jokes because everybody's like, "Oh, we know how to piss him off now. We know how to piss off Sinatra now." So all weekend, people are like, "Hey, you ain't been to Trafford."
But one thing I want to touch on though, real quick before we go though. Yeah, shout out to Sanjeev. Sanjeev, you're all over the place right now.
And Bandito, man. Thank you so much. Bandito, you listening to this?
Salute.
Yo, thank you so much, Bandito. He's been sending me all the clips. He's been fighting people overseas. He's been ducking from the cops. That guy is a warrior.
Yeah.
He really is. They beat up FC20.
Yes, they did. And then also, I just want to give a quick shout out. Not a shout out so much, is coming real soon. I'm not sure if it was going to be in 2 weeks or the week after. I'm going to be taking over the women's team. I'm going to be trying to do some watch-alongs real quick while we've actually find a woman that wants to take over. I know we've put some feelers out there, but I'm going to try and take over the women's soccer coach.
I'll do a couple watch-alongs with you.
Oh, perfect. And then Mikey can jump on when he's available. I'm going to try and do some watch-alongs for the women's team, give them the respect that they deserve, because right now they deserve more respect than our main team. Unfortunately, I can't do any with the under-21s team because, unfortunately, Man United don't allow us to watch that in this country. And I wish that's something that Man United would allow us to do because it's not available on MUTV in America. But just keep an eye out for the women's team. I know if there's any females watching, we're definitely going to be doing that real soon. But other than that, guys, I will see you tomorrow. And then Mikey, hopefully you can be on Thursday. But everybody else, peace out, guys. Bye.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Atlanta, Georgia. This is United Fan Zone with Sean Gregg